Kingdom people, they realize you for real. You're not playing. They realize that you are for real. You are not playing. See, Kingdom people, you on the move. Whatever that is for you. You handle your business. You serious about your walk with God. Some of you are even building something. You're building. And what happens is, Kingdom people, many a times people can get on a path and get thrown off of it, or be diverted off of it, or just kind of give up, or sometimes life just happens. And that's just the real thing. Life happens and we have to change course. I've experienced it several times in my life. I'm sure that some of you are able to identify with that. But here's the thing. When the time is right, when God say, when he put you back on whatever path that is, you back on that path. And so, Kingdom people, some of these people just thought you was playing. They see you, doing something. And it could be just as simple as, Kingdom people, going to work. And what trips me out about these kind of people in particular is that they be waiting on you to give up, to stop. And usually these are people that are not really doing much with their lives, or they just see you as doing more with yours. Even if they are doing something, you just look like you just got more going on. What you're doing is more important. That's kind of how they think. And so they feel a certain kind of way, seeing you move how you do. And they just want you to stop. They want you to give up. Some of them even go so far as to do their little tricks, their little witchcrafty stuff, to try to make you give up, to try to make you stop. For the most part, so they can feel better about themselves. But these kind of people in particular, they just hate to see good. They hate to see people doing well. And they really hate to see you doing well, because it's just something about you. It's something about you that just disturbs their demons. And we know what that something is. It's your light. It's your presence. It's the way that you keep ticking, talking, and don't stop it. Kingdom people. And so they're waiting on you to stop. They thought you was playing. It's this thing where people sometimes think, oh, it's just a phase. Especially when you're starting something new. Maybe you started a new business. You started whatever the case may be, Kingdom people. I'm just hearing business. Or you just started to get on your weight loss journey, or gain weight journey, or just be more healthy. Or again, your walk with God. Maybe you upped it. Yes, I just made a word. People be waiting on you to not continue, to not be consistent. They waiting on you to just fall off of that, because as we know, many people do start things and they don't continue. And I'm reminded of New Year's, how many people make these New Year's resolutions, but they don't stick to them. Not all people, but it's very common that you be hyped up in the beginning, but as time keep going, you don't continue with whatever you resolve to do. And what happens is, you got to be consistent. You got to be persistent. You got to keep going. You have to be disciplined. And you also have to be motivated. And if you're not motivated enough, or your motivation doesn't come from a place of, I'm hearing purity, for the most part, where you really want to improve something, develop something, build something. But on a deeper level, I'm hearing God say, purity means from a place of, it's him pulling you, it's him driving you. So when God is the driving force, you got to stick with it. Rain or storm or fire or whatever else. And that's what's happening, Kingdom people. You go through your little stuff. Maybe some people are well, maybe some people are not. And even those who don't know, they can see that You just on the move, and they wonder, do you go through anything? And then some of them that know what they've been doing behind the scenes, they be confused because how you still going after all this I done? See, kind of people, they thought you was playing. They thought that you, and then the other part of that is if you thought I was playing, what you doing trying to stop me? But kind of people, it starts off where they do be thinking you playing. You know why, kind of people? Because these kind of people, they playing. They don't be for real. They say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. A lot of people are a lot of talk. I can do this, I'm going to do that, I got this. Man, I ain't doing nothing. But you, on the other hand, for the most part, you don't even talk about it. You just be about it. But if by chance you have shared some things with people, especially at one point in time until you realize you need to stop talking to them people, either way, kin people, you said some things. And these people thought you was playing. Or they just thought, yeah, you might start something. You may be thinking that way. You trying to, you thinking big and you, yeah, all that. But they just thinking, yeah. But then you keep doing it. You really moving towards that. You being persistent. They thought you was playing. But they realizing, no, you for real. You meant that. You meant what you said. And again, for those that you haven't said anything to, they just watching you. They seeing you. They realize that you for real. You not for play. It reminds me of these people that be calling themselves trying to compete with you. Like competing, when you trying to compete with somebody, you ain't for real. You the one ain't for real. It ain't you that ain't for real. You this your life. This what you do. This what you own. You competing with me. They competing with you. They the one that ain't for real, which is why they fall out of their competition that they're having with you. Now, you're not in the competition. They in it with you, but they fall off because you for real. They the ones playing, not you. Because kingdom people, you not playing with your life. You don't play with your life. You take your life serious. You take what you have to do serious. You take your walk with God serious. You take what God is telling you to do serious. You take your purpose serious. You take what you're building, what you're called to serious. You not playing. You for real. They be playing, but not you. And so kingdom people, that's what they learn. They are learning that you are not playing, you are for real. And as I said before, life happens. Sometimes you start something and you may be doing this for a while, and then maybe God will move you around and have you leave that alone and come over here and do this for different reasons, whatever the case may be. Sometimes when they're watching you and stalking you like a hawk, they looking at that even like, okay, see, I knew that wasn't gonna last. Oh, yeah, they just was playing. Yeah. And it's not even that. Sometimes God take you through certain paths and have you doing certain things to learn some things, to get certain experiences. And as I've already stated, sometimes He'll take you back around to that at a later date. Sometimes He'll do a switcheroo, not necessarily on you, yeah, with you, but on these people. Because see, they be in their head, yeah, see, I knew that wasn't gonna last. And when God spin it back around, when He decide that it's time, they gonna be like, she went back to that. I thought she was playing. No, you not playing. You for real. They thought you was playing, but you for real. I'm reminded of, God been bringing this to me lately, of when I stopped going to school when I was in undergrad, when I was working on my bachelor's degree. This was years ago. And, I just started I just wasn't in class. I wasn't attending class like I should have been. I was too busy hanging out, doing whatever, and I just wasn't keeping up with my work. And so I ended up stopped going because I just was messing up. And a lot of people, God has showed me after the fact that there were people, and particularly family, that thought I wasn't going to go back. They were happy about that. They were hoping I wouldn't. But of course, I eventually went back and finished and kept going and got more stuff. But the point is, they thought I was playing when I was going to school. I was for real, but life had happened. And I came back around to it. Kingdom people, listen, they be thinking you playing. But they be finding out, they are finding out that you not playing. You for real. They thought you was playing. Kingdom people, but you are not playing. You are for real. For real.